Season 3, Episode 1, The Summoning. 3 scientists, Papaia, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at the Nasal Observatory. They come across some intriguing books and start getting into creationism. But their bosses don't like this new interest. We are at the Nasal, where their boss has summoned them, and they are waiting outside the boss's office. Banani, why did he summon us? Ravioli, I think someone found one of those magazines of yours. Banani, Pinhata magazine? Ravioli, no, what are you talking about? The ones about creationism? Banani, how is that possible? I keep them hidden in my drawer. Papaia, guys, why do you even bring those magazines to work? The boss isn't joking around. We're risking our jobs here. Banani, I know, sorry Papaia, but I find them extremely interesting. For example, yesterday I was reading an article about the Hubble telescope. Ravioli, what did it say? Banani, apparently its launch triggered a real revolution in the world of cosmology. Hi, Ravioli. Really? Banani, yep, it seems there are issues with the data the telescope sent back. The Big Bang might be called into question. Papaia, and do you by any chance understand anything about these things? Banani, no, but I love space pictures. Papaia, alright Banani. First, those magazines are mine, and you need to give them back, because I only lent them to you a month ago. Second, the office door opens. The secretary peeks out from the room. Secretary, gentlemen, please, you may come in. The 4 enter the office, but Igor hesitates for a moment before following them in. Igor sighs theatrically. The scientists don't know why the boss is calling us. Let's see. Maybe it's to give us a raise? No, too optimistic. Perhaps it's because of Banani's embarrassing magazines? Who knows? Or maybe because they've discovered that Banani got in through nepotism. Season 3, Episode 2, Tough Decision. 3 scientists, Papaia, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at the Nasal Observatory. They come across some intriguing books and start getting into creationism. But their boss doesn't like this new interest and summons them to his office. We're in the boss's office, where the air is heavy. Perhaps it's because of the half-eaten Mexican lunch sitting in its container, or maybe it's the bad news looming over our scientists. The 4 sit anxiously in chairs near the desk. The boss sits in his seat, looking extremely serious. Boss, gentlemen, I told you that if I ever heard you were wasting work hours again with that creationism nonsense. Ravioli, suddenly interrupting, no, boss, I've nothing to do with those magazines. They're Banani's. Banani, hey, no, I only borrowed them. The magazines are Papaia's. Boss, what are you even talking about? What magazines? Ravioli, awkwardly, magazines? No, I mean solar filters from the telescope. The ones that broke yesterday? By accident. Banani, no. They broke because you dropped them while checking the time, waiting for lunch. Boss, shouting. Ravioli, Banani. Does my face look like I'm joking? Banani, no sir, of course not. Ravioli, awkwardly. Sorry, boss, it won't happen again. The boss takes a deep breath, preparing to continue. Boss. As I was saying, I spoke to the higher-ups, and they agreed with me to let you keep working at the observatory, but... Banani, bursting into tears. Please don't fire me. I have a family. Boss, irritated. Banani, are you deaf? Didn't I just tell you and Ravioli not to interrupt me? Banani, sobbing. Actually, boss, I'm deaf in one ear. Anyway, sorry, I won't do it again. The boss buries his face in his hands, then quietly counts to 3 and strikes a yoga pose. Boss, didn't I warn you that questioning the Big Bang isn't tolerated at this observatory? Papaia. Yes, boss, I remember you said that. Boss, then can you explain this note in your report? Banani, what note? Ravioli, what report? Boss, excuse me, Ravioli, but do you even work here? Ravioli, I hope so, boss. Boss, Papaia added a note to the end of your weekly data report about the Hubble tension. Ravioli, Hubble? Who's Hubble? Wait a second. Isn't that the new employee? Banani, yeah, it's him. I notice he's a bit tense, but that's normal. He just started a few days ago. Ravioli. Papaia, why did you mention the new employee in the report? It's just about data. The boss is banging his head against the wall. Hey, Papaya. Gentlemen, when we talk about Hubble tension, it's about a problem with the Hubble constant in cosmology. We're not referring to the new employee's anxiety. Ravioli, clapping his hands. Of course, I knew it. Obviously, it's cosmology. I knew that. I was just joking. Banani, nervously laughing. For a moment, we got confused. Naturally, everyone knows about the Hubble pressure. Papaya. No, Banani, it's not pressure. It's tension. The Hubble tension. Banani. Pretending. Isn't that what I just said? The Hubble pension. Ravioli, whispering. Papaya, let it go. He's deaf in one ear. Boss, the Hubble tension. Exactly. And here's the problem. It's in your report, Papaya. Papaya, are you referring to that final note, boss? Boss, that's right. I thought I was clear last time, but maybe I wasn't. Papaya, you were perfectly clear, boss. That was just a simple observation. Boss, let me read it to refresh your memory. The boss rummages through some papers and finds Papaya's report. Boss. And since the value of the Hubble constant, measured using cosmic radiation, differs significantly from that measured using redshift, this suggests that our cosmological model may need to be reconsidered. Papaya. Yes, it's the truth. Boss. But don't you understand? Didn't I tell you the truth doesn't pay your rent? Papaya. You reminded me last time, boss. Boss. Exactly. And you know very well that we've always attributed this problem to instrumentation errors. Papaya. Boss, you know as well as I do that the instruments can't produce such a large error. Boss. Frustrated. What's wrong with you, Papaya? Do you want to get us all fired? It's the instrument's fault, end of story. That's what the investors want to hear, and that's what we tell them. Papaya, lowering his gaze. I understand perfectly, boss. Boss. Now imagine the effort it took me this morning to come up with excuses to cover for you. Papaya, I'm sorry, boss. From now on, I'll follow the agreed protocol. Boss. Papaya, I've known you and your assistants for years. I know you're good scientists, even if a bit distracted and clumsy. As far as I'm concerned, you can keep your jobs. The four suddenly jump for joy, but the boss cuts them off. Boss, but... Papaya. But what? Boss, but the higher-ups don't see it my way. They want to ensure these incidents involving creationism won't happen again. Banani. Tell them not to worry. Boss, sighing. It's not that simple, Banani. Believe me, I had a tough meeting with them and convinced them not to fire you on the spot. They agreed for now, but on one condition. Ravioli. What condition? Boss. You'll need to pass a test. Papaya, laughing. Ha ha ha. An astronomy test? That'll be a piece of cake for us. Boss, it's not a technical test. Banani. No, then what kind of test is it? Boss, a psychological test. The four freeze for a moment, then look at each other with frightened faces. Ravioli, whispering. They'll find out we're crazy? Banani, whispering. Oh, Ravioli, speak for yourself. Boss, maybe you don't understand the gravity of the situation yet. Tomorrow morning, you'll report to the psychologist's office on the 3rd floor, room A. You'll be evaluated and take a psycho-aptitude test. If you fail, you're out. Papaya, but... Boss, no buts. Now, if you don't mind, I have a lot of work to do. The boss returns to his paperwork, flipping through some documents, as Papaya and the others leave the office. Igor. Ravioli and Banani don't know that Hubble is a famous scientist from the past, and think he's their new clumsy colleague. You know, Ravioli and Banani are starting to remind me of that new guy, nervous, confused, and clueless about astronomy. The only difference? He just started, and you're just about to get fired. Season 3, Episode 3, A Sleepless Night. 3 scientists, Papaya, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor work at the Nasal Observatory. They come across some intriguing books and start getting into creationism. But their bosses don't like this new interest and send them to take a psychological test, which they must pass to keep their jobs. We're at the entrance gate of Nasal, where the 4 who arrived early are clocking in. Ravioli. Guys, I'm really worried about this test. I couldn't sleep a wink last night. Banani. Don't worry, Ravioli. You'll see it's nothing serious. Ravioli. Oh, really? And how do you know that? Banani. I don't. I just wanted to cheer you up. Ravioli. Papaya really made a mess this time. Banani. Yes, Ravioli, but we also signed the report. Ravioli. Yeah, but our signatures are just a formality. Those boring reports, no one reads them. Papaya. Apparently, the only one who doesn't read them here is you. Banani. Yeah, Ravioli. You really should have read them. Now even you are at risk of losing your job. Papaya. Every time you sign something, you take responsibility for it. Didn't you know that? Ravioli. So it's not just clocking in and out anymore. Now I have to actually work too? Igor. Hey, not for much longer, Ravioli. Papaya. Sometimes I wonder if these people actually have a filter between their brains and their mouths. Banani. Speaking of which, I was watching a documentary on the Webb telescope, and it seems like every new discovery adds another problem for the Big Bang Theory. Papaya. Yeah, launching that telescope cost billions. Yet instead of confirming the Big Bang, it's created quite the headache. They'll probably have to rethink everything. Banani. The funny thing is that the theory of a preformed universe, as the Bible claims, is never disproven by new discoveries. Igor. The truth sometimes hurts, especially at the top when they see their budget in the red. I've never seen anyone pay so much to be told. They're wrong. Papaya, come on, let's move or we'll be late for the test. We still need to find the room. Inside the elevator, they don't know which floor to go to. Ravioli, it was the 6th floor, right? Banani, no, Ravioli, you got it wrong. It was the 3rd. Ravioli, no, you're the one who got it wrong. The boss said the 6th. Papaya, Banani's right. I heard it clearly. The boss said, the 3rd floor. Ravioli, what about you, Igor? What did you hear? Igor, unfortunately, I was distracted and didn't hear anything. By the way, have you ever noticed that when the boss gets angry, his mouth goes crooked? Must be a nervous tic. Papaya, oh, come on, Igor. Why do you always have to make fun of others? Igor, that's not exactly how it works. The secret to good sarcasm is to start with yourself. Banani, I don't see anything funny about this. We're risking our jobs. Ravioli, I pressed the button for floor 3. Papaya, yeah, I saw you press 3. Why did you do that? Banani, and now? What do we do if the right floor turns out to be 6? Papaya, press 6 too and we'll decide. Ravioli, we've arrived at the 3rd floor. Should I get off? Papaya, wait. Banani, the doors are closing. Ravioli, now we're at the 6th. What should we do? Papaya, I don't know. What do you think, Igor? Igor, let's put it to a vote. After lots of up and down, the 4 exit the elevator on the 3rd floor. Igor, so we've discovered that Papaya and the others don't remember anything from the past 24 hours. And we also know their jobs depend on a psychological aptitude test. From what I've seen, if that's true, we can all relax and get fired.